Hello everyone. Hi, but one thing I want to say is that this video is most likely half an hour long. You're probably thinking, how do you know that in the middle of recording? Well, it's because, have you ever heard the song, the story, it's titled like Story of My Life? Whether you did or not, it's a really great song and I recommend you hear it if you haven't already. And if you have, maybe you should hear it again. But if you don't want to, that's fine. But I'm going to be explaining how my 2 minutes of each year in my life. I'm gonna be explaining my life for 2 minutes like this is gonna be like the starting point of it. And I'm 12, so it'll take like 24 minutes alone. And then there's gonna be 2 minutes of the end. So, what I'm going to talk about first is, before I was born, by the way, keep in mind that when I was 0 to 3, I didn't remember much. Anything younger than like 3 is used off of video proof or what my parents have told me. So, before I was born, my parents met at this party and after being friends for a while, they went on dates and got married. And then after a bit, they wanted to do, it and have Ashley. So they did that in August, and then she was born in May, the beginning of May, and then they did that with me 4 years later, but they also did it in August so we could get the birthdays over with. So I was born like 2 weeks after my sister, so my sister's birthday was 2 weeks before mine. Mine was 2 weeks before my dad's, so we could get those out of the way. And then on December 31st, we could do my mom's birthday. Yeah, she was born on New Year's Eve. So, let's talk about when I was 0 years old. So, when I was 0, I was barely even a year old, so you know what I mean. I don't really remember much, but I do remember from photos I saw when I was a bit younger of me as a baby that I did have blonde hair and blue eyes, but my eyes eventually turned hazel and I got brown hair. So when I was 0, well, I was just like an ordinary baby, like my parents knew what they were signing up for and stuff. Like they knew they'd have to take care of me. I never really got much babysitters unless they were from my family because like they did not trust anyone. Well, maybe they would have, I don't know. I just never really needed a non-family babysitter because like, well, I just didn't need one. We already had like family who was willing to take care of me if my parents couldn't. Now I'm just left alone in the house with the dog and my sister, but we'll talk on that later. But yeah. And plus, they supervised me a lot when I was a kid. In fact, my mom actually wanted me to have a younger sibling, aka 3, but my dad didn't want 3 kids, so. Yeah, So we didn't get 3 kids. It was just me and my older sister, and, well, hold on, let me move the device. Anyways, that's so much better doing it there. So when I was like 1 years old, what was it? I hope this isn't too long for you guys. I'm sorry if it is. If I wasn't verified, I would definitely not make a video this long. It would be half as long at most. But like when I was 1, I started becoming more mischievous. Let's say that. I'd make messes. I would goof around. I would think things that weren't that weren't what happened in the real world. You know, like many 1-year olds do. I did not know much in life because I had not lived that long back then. I would be like, I remember every morning I would wake up and my mom would be like, "Good morning," turn off the fan, pick me up out of the crib, and just leave me on the floor. But, well, she wouldn't just like go and do something else. She would, of course, I wasn't always being supervised, but there were times I was, a lot, when I was younger. They legitimately babied me back then, when I was a bit older. And, well, yeah, I remember that crib. I remember sleeping in it, waking up. And when I was being bad, they'd put me in the crib, you know, like extra bad. When I was 2, it is basically the same thing. I remember there was this birthday video I had when I was like 2 years old. It was like, and I was trying to touch the candle, but my grandma moved my finger away just in time. You know, we didn't want me burning myself. And I partly remember the birthday video, so I might have remembered the pain if I did that. So I'm super glad that Grandma didn't let me burn myself. You know, like, I was only 2. If my 13th birthday came up now, I would definitely not try to put my finger on it. Like, you know, because I know what it would do, but 2-year-olds, they're so little, they don't really know. And this may seem boring, like, because, you know, it's probably like any other kid's, like, life, but the older I get, the more interesting things get, I promise, okay? Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happened at first. I just gotta hope my sister isn't gonna want to come down here because I'm in the basement. I saw a bug in my room, now I'm scared. I cannot do this in my parents' room because they do check on their room in under half an hour every time. So the basement's really my only option unless I want to go outside. But yeah. Anyways, I just hope she won't come down, or we'll have to make the story longer because of her interruption. Anyways, we're just about done with me being 2. Now we're gonna move on to when I was 3. So when I was 3, I got into even more trouble. So I know my parents said I started preschool when I was 4, but yeah. We're just gonna say the preschool story from when I was 3 and 4 combined. So when I was 3, my parents would always put me in this preschool. You know what I mean? Like every little kid goes to. And I was and still am sensitive to some loud noises. Depends on the loud noise. If it's loud music that I like, oh, that's no problem. As long as I know it's playing at first. Otherwise it would startle me first, but then I'd be fine with it. But if it's something like scolding me or loud, disturbing stuff, that's honestly a problem. You know, like a big problem for me, because I hate those. I hate it. Like, for example, the toilet flushing. The toilet would always flush really loud, and I hated that. In that preschool where I was at, the toilets were fine. I did not care going to the bathroom. I didn't even want to be at that preschool. But I was young, so I didn't really know how to tell anyone. Except for the fact that I would keep hugging my mom and didn't want her to leave. But then, you know how those people who take care, you know how I said I had family babysitters? Well, turns out my great grandma was really sick at the time or something. I don't really know. She was like in her 90s. Yeah, she's gone now, but that was like 6 years ago. But so don't feel sorry for me. So my parents, my grandma was busy taking care of her, you know, because my grandma didn't just want to leave her mom like that. And I know she probably could have taken care of me, but my parents didn't want to bother her while she was already having Gigi to take care of. That's exactly like with my other grandma. My other great grandma needs cared for by my other grandma. That grandma is my other great grandma is still alive as we're speaking. I call her Granny. Her name's Mary, but I call her Granny. Just so you know, but I hated that preschool. And there was this one blonde teacher who was just like, oh, she was such a bitch. You she was so mean. Yeah, then there was this like assistant teacher, and she wanted the job not only for money, like the blonde one, but she also wanted the job because, well, she wanted it. She wanted to take care of preschoolers, and I liked her. I would always hug her and stuff. But then, well, the toilets in the preschool, like back on the loud noises, they replaced them with those loud flushing toilets, so I would refuse to go to the bathroom no matter how much I needed it. You know, like, because I did not like the loud noises. And yeah, it was just so disturbing. It's just, I hated that preschool and I'm happy I'm not in it. Well, I'm too old, but you know. Now, on to when I was like, hold on, I lost track. Oh, yeah. Now, on to when I was like 6. Oh, shoot, I skipped 5. Well, I was back in preschool when I was 5. Yeah, I was in preschool. Because, well, I wasn't doing good in kindergarten when I was 5. So I had to get help back for one more year. I vaguely remember why. There was this one time I got in trouble for doing something. I don't remember what exactly, but I was running across the room, refusing to sit down like the teachers told me, and then the teacher told the other teacher, so I ran from them both. Tried blending in with the crowd of kids playing at the time, so they held me back for another year, and then I went in kindergarten as a 6-year-old, and I threw a fit about that when I was 9 for 2 hours because I didn't like it. But now I'm homeschooled, and I got homeschooled in 3rd grade, but my dad moved me up in 4th grade in the middle of 3rd grade because he knew I was doing good with that, you know. So yeah, it's fine. It's all good now. I'm a little behind on, like, you know, reading and stuff, but other than that, it's good. Yeah, that's basically that's basically what happened when I was 6. And that's about all. Really, except for playing outside in the snow and non-snow, but being watched all the time. Okay, so now we're on to when I was a little 7-year-old girl. So I was 7, and I was in actual school back then, because, like I said, I got homeschooled in 3rd grade, but I was 9, you know. And then I got in 4th grade when I was also 9. So, onto that, I was 7 and I was in like 1st grade, and there were kids my age. You know how, like, kids, there's people who can be your age, there's people who can be older than you, there's people who can be younger than you, you know, that. Like, people being born before you, born the same year as you, people being born, like, later than you. That's the world, basically, but I hated hanging out with kids my age. I don't, like, I hated that we were, like, we had nothing in common. Well, we probably did, but I didn't like them for some reason. They were just, I just didn't like kids my age. And my parents knew that because the teachers would give reports of who I interacted with. And when I interacted with kids my age, it would not be a good interaction. However, when I interacted with kids younger, I was super happy hanging out with them. Like, I loved little kids, and I still do. I still like hanging out with younger people. I literally was with this girl who was 6 in summer camp. This girl who was turning 4. I'm gonna be there for her 4th birthday party because I'm her friend. Well, her parents are my parents' friends, so that's how I know her. And there's, like, older kids who I find, like, cool. There's been times I wanted to be older so that way I can just be like them. You know what I mean? But I either liked older or younger. No, my age back then. Anyways, on to when I was 8 years old. So when I was, like, 8 years old, like, I was in 2nd grade, people would always be, like, saying words not right. Some people still do, even though it's been, like, 4 years. That was during the pandemic, too. If you see the school photo in that yearbook in 2020, during the pandemic, you could see everyone had masks on, but if you look at in my class, everyone had masks on, like, everybody. And you can see an odd one out, a short-haired, brown-haired girl pulling her mask down and smiling. Can you guess who that was? You guessed it, me. I'm not gonna show you the photo because not only will it show my face, but it'll show all my classmates' faces and the teacher's face, even though that was, like, 4 years ago. And I don't want I don't want all of their faces being shown just because of one of us, I honestly would show my face to you guys, but my parents wouldn't allow me. This video could have been my face reveal, like, right now. I wanted to do it before this video, actually, but I can't because of my parents. So I'll show you when I'm older, okay? Even though I really want to now. So on to when I was, like, 9. When I was 9, well, let's just say I wasn't the best girl when I was 9 years old. Let me tell you what happened. So I had, like, so much issues. I had so much, yeah. My sister would always have tantrums, but then my parents would just, like, tell her to knock it off, and she normally did. So then when I started throwing those tantrums, they did the same thing. They told me to knock it off the same way they told her. And I took that a whole lot differently. I got even more upset. I destroyed more things in the house. I was a disaster. That the crayon song gets ruined. How, like, either way, there's his color black, and they're like, black is the color of emptiness. I feel it in my soul because I'm an emotional mess. I felt like an emotional mess back then. So, yeah. I've known that crayon song since, like, 2022, but this is 2021 we're talking about. So, and I was upset that I'd been doing that stuff, but, like, it was just sad, like, I didn't want to be like that. I had issues. And when I was 9, I was so young. My dad once said, "No wonder no one likes you," when I said, "I'm gonna give Danica a piece of my mind for giving me a stolen scarf." And then my dad was like, "What, you gonna hit, kick? No wonder no one likes you." Like, he literally said something along the lines of that. My mom once called me a devil for laughing at her for ripping the door off when I was throwing a tantrum. I was 9, okay? I I thought that if potions didn't exist, I could never get the help I needed. That's literally what I thought back then. A kid that young shouldn't be called a devil or say no wonder no one likes you. I I just can't seem to let go of the grudge, okay? It's so hard. Okay, now when I was 10, so I was online and my friend group turned on me. They hated me, so we weren't really a friend group anymore. The only one I really listened to was Lavender. That's what we called her. It was like online, and we just had a bunch of drama. Like, they they would stupidly give me their account password, even though they knew I hated them. And it was probably just like what under a week that I started being nice to them. So, yeah, you shouldn't give me your password if I hate you. Like, don't do that. If I really truly like you, I won't do anything. But yeah, it's not best to give out your password. That was stupid of them. I took all their stuff on Animal Jam. I was 10. That was like 2 years ago, 2022. Yeah, it was so long ago. Like I was 10, or it was 2 years ago, but still. I would care a bunch about my friends. I met Lucky at the time, my best friend for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happened back then. Okay, so when I was like 11 years old, I was 11, and well, actually, turns out, uh, turns out that, well, some quite a bit happened when I was 11. On my 11th birthday, I was on some sunset dinner cruise in Hawaii. It was a lot for 2 weeks of the stay at the apartment and a little bit in that house at Hawaii. So we didn't really, you know, like, uh, we didn't really just be there for that long. But 2 weeks was quite expensive, trust me. And well, I never really like wanted to leave, like, because it sucked. But Hawaii was the most memorable time all that year in 2023. We did have vacations in 2020 and 2021, and the pandemic was literally ending. So, like, it ended already. So I was super duper happy when it was finally over. But if the pandemic ever happens again, let's just say I'm gonna do what younger me called cheating COVID, taking the mask down and stuff, Like, I'm just gonna not. I mean, I never got COVID. And when I did, it was just like a cold. Well, once. I got it once. But I never really got it again, because now my body's just used to it. Okay, so now on to like 12, aka this year. So I went to this trampoline park for my 12th birthday, and you would not believe it. There was this girl whose birthday was also my birthday, and she was the same age as me. Like a twin's age. So literally fate brought us together. Like, literally. She was there because of her birthday as well, and that was like amazing. Yeah, I liked that. Um, there was this yesterday. Well, I didn't like this friend who was called Joy. It was Xiao and Jonas's friend. So I destroyed his statue in Jonas's private server. And then I woke up that day to text from Xiao being like, Kitty, what the hell? Did you delete the statue of Joy and the Chosen One? I spent so much in that dang statue. I'm not forgiving you. You did a bit too much. He said all of that. And turns out, now that happened on August 26th, and now it turns out, well, it's August 27th, and he forgives me already. The only damage that's really been done is like some just listening to Jonas, but I still take that seriously. I screenshotted everything Jonas says, so that way I'll know that they'll both hate me if I do it again. And he said don't say that, but I feel like he will, so yeah. I know I said I'd end it now, but I'm gonna do 2 more minutes of when I was 12 since a lot happened. So it was April when I was like 11. I was turning 12 in like a month, and I got my Apple account disabled forever. You wanna know why? Well, it's because we're adding all these random numbers that are similar to my family's numbers into my contacts, like over 40. And most of them were like literal adults, and they were like so confused how I got their number. One of them said, I'm sorry, I can't hang out with you because I'm too old. Like, I did that once. That was stupid of me. And my parents found out I did that because of the screenshots I had of their chat with me. He instantly deleted those, but I got in trouble. And they really think that I have like 50 DMs on Discord. I do have Discord, but I can't access it anymore. All I have is this friend with the display Birdie, and I accidentally video called them, and I just went out of the app, and it was they stayed for 4 minutes. And now I just want to go back on and tell them, oh, I'm so sorry, that was an accident. But I can't. If only they knew that I really do not have anyone on there. If they really logged, my sister was like, I want to log onto her account so I can see who she's been talking with, but she won't tell me. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you guys either, because you'll steal it, but I'm not sure all of you will, but I don't care. I'm not telling anyone but myself, no matter how much I trust them. So, yeah, if they went on there, they'd be surprised to see I only had one friend I barely talked to on there. And yeah, that's basically like the end of it. A lot of crazy things happened this year, but let me just say some bonus things. So there was this one time there was this dirty old white t-shirt on the pavement at the place I went to for therapy. And I really wanted that dirty t-shirt that was on the ground, and I went as far as to like literally tell my dad I had a backup shirt there, dropped it, I needed him to take me back. I was so scared on the ride there, like literally. And then I finally picked up the shirt, and he was like, this is not yours, why would you have, and then he was like, now I'm mad. Because like I said, are you sure you're not mad? And he said he's sure, but then he was. Then he told me to go inside, and he said he was gonna throw that out. Like, I did a bunch of ridiculous things this year, but, yeah, Xiao and Jonas are like literally some of the top 2 people I care about besides my own family. If I had to cut off caring about my whole family at all, then the person I'd care about the most would be Xiao and Jonas, honestly. Like, a bunch of the times when I think about, like, Xiao this, Jonas that, like, I just don't know why I care so much. But, anyways, that is the end of it, and I hope you enjoyed the story. That was like half an hour long, like I said at the beginning. But I'm gonna be posting this, and bye. Love y'all.